So, welcome everyone. It's my pleasure to have Nimish Bakshi today with me. He is a young man who has been engaged in long distance running. And the long distance running that he's going to describe to us as to about what his experience is, and that has been his passion. And we would like to learn a few things about this long distance running and his experience. And many a times people do these types of practices or runs. They have lots of things to offer to everyone and anyone who may not even run. So, Nimish, welcome.
Thank you.
And over to you. Begin just telling us about your long distance running experience and all that. Go ahead. How you got
Oh, thank
started.
you. Thank you very much for that introduction. And yes, I've done a lot of running. I've had some considerable experience with running. A few years ago, I had started doing it just out of the whim because I thought, oh, everybody seems to be doing it. I I will do it. So I did a few races here and there, got excited about it. And about 2 years ago, roughly about 2 years ago, a friend of mine reached out to me because he had seen that during the pandemic, I had started going out more. I had started going on the nature trails around our residence and community to get out to get my miles in and become more healthier. And he happened to be setting up a marathon relay team
I
for
see.
his wife
Mm.
to who was suffering from a recent diagnosis of MS.
Wow.
Now, it just so happened that he saw that, I was running, I was doing, and he said, Nimish, do you want to join? It's going to be part of a marathon relay
Okay.
and part of the Pittsburgh Marathon Relay. So that's how I kind of got started. And he saw that I was doing it and he said, oh, you can do this. I said, you can do 6.5 miles. I
Ah.
said, sure. And so that's how I kind of started. And then this year, up to this year, it was the second year. They said, would you like to do it? I said, sure, I would love to do it. So that's how I got myself really into running. And I've found that I've noticed a lot of I've challenged myself physically, but also mentally.
Mhm.
I've done a lot of that in the past 2 years, uh, not just trying to get myself in shape, but also, just doing a lot of different things. So trying to push myself. So
So can you please just enumerate just one, two, three, how many races you ever done? That's number one question. And the second part of question will be about physical. Obviously, people know that certain amount of work is necessary, and so I will ask you that later. Just enumerate the number of races you've done. Just tell us how many races you've done so far.
sure. Yes, since 2022, or I should say 20, yeah, so since 2023, actually, I should say, for to prepare myself for the marathon relay, I did a 5 mile run in um, pretty blistery cold temperatures.
Okay.
And then I did the marathon relay, which I did the longest leg of the relay
Right.
during the marathon, which was 6.5 miles.
Mm-hmm.
Then a couple of months later, I got excited again, saying, "Oh, I can do this.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
I'm enjoying this."
Okay.
So I decided to do a 10K
Okay.
and did that was 6.2, and then finally I did this uh past recent earlier this month. I did the 6.5 leg again
Okay.
for the
Okay.
Pittsburgh
Very
Marathon.
good. Very good. So physically, how many hours of preparation do you do when you prepare yourself? How many hours do you really prepare before the actual
So
event?
that's a great question. For to physically prepare myself, I typically am doing at least, I would say, about 10 to 15 hours a week.
And what kind of practices do you do?
But besides, I do some breathing. I do make sure I focus on the breathing aspect of it because of some different physical things I need to work on. I learned at the end of last year or at the end of each race, I learned that there was a lot of different challenges I was experiencing that I needed to focus on my breathing to recover properly and to increase my lung capacity.
Ah,
So I was doing a lot with that, but also in terms of actual running, because I needed to train my legs, I needed to train my muscle groups,
okay,
my joints.
okay.
So I would be doing that on a weekly basis, roughly about 10 hours.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's wonderful. So running and anything else, the yoga or any stretches and stuff like that?
Yeah, I do a lot of stretches. I do obviously
Gym.
before and after my workouts,
Okay.
running workouts. But every morning I'm doing my yoga, I'm doing different yoga stretches or at least doing some type of stretching
Okay.
because again, that I know that kind of does help
Okay.
with the lung capacity and things like that. So I've
Right.
been doing a lot with that.
Right. That's wonderful. And I'll go to the specific of breathing in a minute, but let me ask you the mental part. So, what challenges are you talking about mentally? What is the challenge? I'm interested in the challenge part.
Oh yeah, I've had since I started running, or even with the physical, even in terms of physical exercise. When I was younger, I always had this inkling of, oh, there's so many other people that are faster than me,
Ah,
or I used the self-limitation of
okay.
I have this particular issue, or because
Right.
me personally, I do have asthma, so I would always use it as a crux
Hmm.
to say, I have asthma. I'm sure, I don't have that much of a capacity to do that,
Right.
or I'm totally out of shape. So and this and that.
Hmm.
And recently, I had shared this with some individuals that there's one time when I was just training. I was doing a proper run, and I happened to notice that there were a lot of people running faster than me
I see. Comparison.
during my training run. So they would be like where I would be doing my run
Right.
and maybe 11 or maybe a 12-minute mile or a 13-minute mile or whatnot. I would be halfway done with my run, half with one lap,
Right.
and the same the person that I would be running against or running not against, but same time, they would have already come around and done
All
their
right. So,
second.
yeah, from your description, it sounds like there are 2 points that I'm getting out of that. Now, one is a self-limiting talk from you're having situation like asthma, and the second one is comparison that you're not adequate in terms of
Yes.
that particular race. And so these two you have to fight.
Yeah.
You have to really work against that to mentally prepare yourself. And any particular technique did you use for the mental preparation, or just talk to yourself, or what did you do?
I use a lot of self-talk.
Self-talk.
I focus on a lot of self-talk. I
Right.
do actually have a quote. There's a quote by Ruben Gonzalez that kind of worked, I kind of push myself towards, and I don't remember it by heart, but
Mhm.
I do have it in the
Right.
sense that I read it every morning,
Right.
every evening. It's his Champions Creed saying, I'm strong, I'm courageous, I'm
Good.
not gonna limit myself, I'm positive and all this stuff. And I do really use that saying, and I tell myself, Nimish, you're here to enjoy you're here to enjoy
All
your
right.
time on this earth. You're here
Okay.
to enjoy this run. Go out and just enjoy it.
That's wonderful. For the purposes of summation here, I do believe that we need to talk to you more about the breath part, because the breath part is very helpful to almost everybody who does any kind of exercise. And how you mentioned recovery part, that was something interesting
Yes.
that you mentioned. Also, you mentioned that you have asthma, so I think many people who have these kinds of situations, like they can be helped. So later on we'll go in more details. But what I got out of the mental part is very fascinating. Number one, you had the self limitation, but you did have also have comparison. You compare with somebody else, and then you focus into yourself, and you focus into self talk and a positive self talk to prop yourself up. Is that correct?
Yeah, that is correct.
Yeah.
And I feel, yeah, and I feel like that really helped me, especially on race day. It really helped me. Whereas I was thinking about it last year, when I was running, I kept on telling myself, really, we have when is this race going to end? When is this race going to
I
end?
see. I see.
And it was also, I mean, it was also a little bit warmer
Right.
and more people out cheering you on. But again, I was thinking, when is this gonna end? Like really like going around the corner.
Right.
This year, I'm going through the race and I just randomly looked at my watch and I with my timing and I said, wow, we're already at 4.5 miles in.
I see.
I'm like,
So it's very fascinating what you're pointing out, and it's worthwhile talking about it in details. But it almost tells me that you persevere through the challenges, you persevere through, and your tenacity and your capacity to go for it. And initial self-talk is, oh, the goalpost is so far away and everything. And now you reflected, oh, I'm already 4.5 miles in, which is a fascinating switch in your mental capacity, mental thinking and talking. So, Nimish, I think this has been very helpful. Thank you very much for sharing some of these details.
sure,
And what I would like to do is I'd like to have you back for more details about, some of the things that you're mentioning, particularly the breath work and some of the physical aspects. And also we may go more into the mental, but I really appreciate your time today.
I
Okay.
appreciate it. Yeah, I enjoyed talking. Yeah,
Enjoy, and then we'll talk further, and maybe you can show some of the practices that you do, stretching, etc.
yeah, we'll definitely do.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.